What if I told you your dog has a hidden set of rules they expect you to follow? Rules they will never bark about, but test you on every single day? Most owners think they do, but dogs have silent expectations that go way beyond food, water, and attention. These are unspoken rules your dog tests you on every single day, and if you keep breaking them, which most people do without realizing it, your dog won't tell you. They'll just quietly lose trust in you. Let's start with the one almost everyone gets wrong. 1. Staring into your dog's eyes. Have you ever looked straight into your dog's eyes and wondered why they suddenly turned away? You probably thought nothing of it. Maybe they got distracted, but here's what was actually happening in dog language. Direct eye contact is not love. It's a challenge. When you lock eyes with your dog and hold that stare, even for a few seconds too long, your dog reads it as a threat. It's hardwired into their instincts. In the wild, a prolonged stare between two animals is what happens right before a fight. So, every time you gaze into those beautiful eyes, thinking you're sharing a moment, your dog is sitting there wondering why you're being aggressive. A study published in the journal Animal Cognition found that dogs actively experience a spike in stress hormones when subjected to prolonged stares from strangers, but they move closer to people who look at them with soft, relaxed facial expressions. That's not a coincidence. That's your dog telling you the rules. The right move is simple. Look at your dog softly, give a slow blink, and then look away. That's the real way to say I love you in their world. And if you've been staring without knowing this, don't worry, but pay close attention to the last section of this video, because where your dog sleeps at night actually reveals whether they've forgiven you for breaking rules like this one. The answer might surprise you. 2. Petting your dog for too long. Why does your dog go from wagging their tail to suddenly snapping at your hand out of nowhere? You didn't do anything wrong. At least that's what it felt like. But here's the truth. You did do something wrong. You just didn't know when to stop. Dogs have a neurological threshold for physical touch. Once you cross it, what started as pleasure turns into overstimulation. And when that switch flips, your dog isn't being mean. They're telling you that you broke the rule. Researchers call it petting-induced aggression. It happens because the repeated stimulation on their skin starts to irritate the nerve receptors. Think of it like someone rubbing the same spot on your arm over and over. At first, it feels nice. Then it gets uncomfortable. Then it's unbearable. The signs are always there before the snap. Their tail starts twitching sharply. Their ears flatten slightly back. Their body freezes or goes completely tense. Most owners miss every single one of those signals because they're too focused on how cute the moment is. The rule is simple. Pet in short sessions. When you see any of those signals, stop. Let your dog decide when they want more. That's not rejection. That's your dog teaching you how they want to be loved. And hey, before we move on, if this is already changing the way you see your dog, hit like and subscribe so we can reach more owners. Reach more owners who want to learn the rules their dog will never bark about. 3. Moving their favorite spot. You know that one spot your dog always sleeps in? What happens when you move the blanket, rearrange the couch, or toss out that old bed they loved? Most owners don't think twice about it. You're just cleaning up, but to your dog, you just destroyed something that belonged to them. Dogs don't see your home the way you do. They map their entire world through scent and territory. Every spot they claim gets marked with the pheromones from their paws and body. That's their way of saying, this is mine. This is safe. One belong here. So when you move their favorite blanket to a different room or rearrange the furniture, your dog doesn't just feel annoyed, they feel displaced. That sense of security they built around that spot is suddenly gone, and they have no idea why. Study from the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that environmental disruption is one of the top triggers of stress in domestic animals. Something as small as moving a bed to the other side of the room can cause anxiety, pacing, and even loss of appetite. The rule here is respect what they've claimed. If your dog has chosen a spot that's not random, that's a decision. And if you absolutely need to move something, do it gradually, shift it a little at a time, so your dog can adjust without feeling like their safe space just vanished overnight. 4. Talking to them while they eat. Do you ever talk to your dog while they're eating? Maybe you stand nearby and say something sweet while they munch away. It feels harmless, right? But your dog doesn't see it that way, not even close in the wild. Mealtime is one of the most vulnerable moments for any canine. Their head is down, their senses are focused on the food, and their guard is lower than at any other point in the day. That instinct doesn't disappear just because they live indoors. Now, so when you hover over their bowl, talk to them, or reach down to pet them mid-meal, your dog's survival brain kicks in. They can't fully relax into eating because part of their mind is now tracking you, even if they don't run away. The stress is happening internally. You just can't see it. What you can see is the aftermath. Dogs who feel pressured during meals start eating too fast. And that leads to choking, food guarding, or severe digestive issues. And in multi-dog households, the same thing can happen even without you standing there. When food bowls are placed too close together, the presence of another dog creates that exact same pressure. So even if you walk away, they still don't feel safe eating at their own pace. The rule is simple. When your dog is eating, give them space. No talking, no touching, no standing over them. And if you have more than one dog, give each one their own spot to eat. Those few minutes at the bowl belong to them and only them. 5. Ignoring them when you walk in. When you come home after a long day, what's the first thing you do? Toss your keys, check your phone, take off your shoes. But have you ever noticed your dog was right there waiting for you? Most owners walk right past them without a second thought. And to you, it's nothing. You're tired, you're distracted, you'll pet them later. But to your dog, that moment meant everything. Dogs don't greet casually. When your dog shows up at the door, or watches you walk in from across the room, that's a deliberate choice. They're acknowledging you, and they expect you to acknowledge them back. This isn't NEDINESS. It's a social ritual that dogs take seriously. Researchers who study canine behavior have found that dogs form intensive greeting patterns with their owners just like they do with other members of their pack. A fast tail wag, a low body posture, maybe a soft whine. That's their version of saying, I noticed you and I'm glad you're safely back. When you ignore that moment, your dog doesn't throw a fit. They just quietly file it away. And over time, those missed greetings add up. Your dog starts meeting you at the door. They stop greeting you when you walk in, not because they stopped caring, because they learn that you don't follow that rule. The fix takes 3 seconds. When you walk in, look at them, say something soft, give them a quick pat, and that's it. That's all they ever wanted from you. 6. Where your dog sleeps at night. Have you ever wondered why your dog chooses to sleep where they do? Maybe it's on your chest, at the foot of the bed, or in a completely different room. You probably never thought much of it. But that choice is the most honest thing your dog will ever tell you. Remember earlier when we talked about staring into your dog's eyes and how they read that as a threat? This is where it all comes together, because where your dog sleeps is the final verdict on how safe they truly feel around you. A dog who sleeps on your chest or curled up near your face is telling you something powerful. They're placing themselves at their most vulnerable, in their deepest state of unconsciousness, right next to the person they trust more than anyone. That's not just comfort, that's complete surrender. A dog who sleeps at the foot of the bed still trusts you, but they're keeping a little distance. They want to be close, but they also want an easy exit, or they are positioning themselves to guard the room. That's not rejection. That's a dog who is watching over you and making sure you're safe to fully let your guard down around. And a dog who sleeps in another room entirely, that doesn't mean they don't love you, but it might mean something in your daily routine is making them feel unsure. Maybe it's one of the things we talked about today that you didn't even realize you were doing. The beautiful Thing is, none of this is permanent. Every single day is a new chance to follow the rules your dog has been quietly waiting for you to understand. And now you know what they are. Now that you know how to decode their midnight sleeping positions, it opens up an even bigger question about their daytime behavior, because your dog's sleeping spots are directly connected to how they show anxiety when you leave the house. Click right here to discover the 7 innocent mistakes that make your dog secretly feel abandoned, and see if you are accidentally breaking the rules of separation. See you there.